Good morning everyone, welcome back to another video. Well, it is a little bit chilly this morning. I absolutely love it because I can come out here in my nice warm scarf and a cup of tea. But I thought I would do a little morning walk around the garden with you all today. Just take you along. I usually end up doing something like this every day. And I feel like I haven't had kind of a catch up with you for a while and share a few new things that are happening in the garden here. So that's what I'm going to do today, just a quick little walk around the garden. Make sure to grab a cup of tea or coffee or some other beverage for this little morning garden walk, and I will share a few things that are going on in the garden. I did start drinking my tea, you would have seen up at the front garden patch. That's the permaculture garden area, but I'm actually coming down, I'll move kind of slowly down the back here to the back garden, and I wanted to share with you what is happening down here first, and then we'll work our way up to the house garden where a lot of other things have also changed. It is very sunny, but that is an amazing thing because, as you would have seen, walking through the grass in the garden right now is so boggy and so muddy. We really need like weeks of sun to dry this out because the amount of water that we have has really brought the water table up really high and is just making things not drain properly. And so we have a massive excess amount of moisture in the soil right now, which has been making it hard to do a few things. But you can see behind me that we do have a few things growing in this little market garden behind me here. I say market garden because that's kind of how I envision this whole space being behind me, and we're definitely behind where I thought I would be because of all of that rain. But now that it is drying up, I am seeing that the plants are a lot more happy, and we can start expanding on this space here. The one thing that we have changed for this area, or the main thing, is we put in a little bit of a wire tunnel here, you can see. This is because we have a resident bandicoot, although I'm pretty sure we have like 20 bandicoots that just dig up the soil, and it makes it impossible to be able to grow things from seed or directly sow into the ground. So we just made this little wire tunnel with some chicken mesh and some wire. I'm probably going to make something a little bit more permanent or think of a more permanent solution soon. But for now, this whole row here is planted out with beetroot. And I think I can, might be a little hard to show on camera, but I did see some the other day. You can kind of see there is one little sprout down there that's sprouting up. And there's some more down here. Down there. So I'm hoping that this will be fairly productive with beetroot because it's one of our favourite things to grow in the garden. I also have some random peas that ended up making it. I had planted this whole thing with peas and only 3 survived, so that's cool. The cauliflowers down here are doing well. They really got a beating from the wind because they're on the corner of the garden, and this is where the little wind tunnel comes down. The onions are also a little bit sad from all of the digging that has been happening with the bandicoot. You can just see where all of that black dirt is where it's been digging. So we have kind of been coming out here and replanting them every few days, which takes a long time. But I honestly think that if we didn't have the bandicoot here, this would have been one of the most amazing onion crops. The plants are really happy. They just keep on getting knocked over by the bandicoot. So these were all of those ones that I sowed from seed and then planted out. So I'm really hoping that we do end up getting a few. Something I am super happy and proud about is this cabbage that I am growing. I have never grown cabbage before, or at least never grown a head of cabbage successfully. And this is growing really nicely. I can feel it's really firming up. So yeah, I'm super excited for this. This is a golden acre cabbage, I think. It just looks absolutely beautiful. And then down here, the broccoli is starting to sprout. It's a little hard to see with this sunlight, but there is some there. And a little bit more in there too. And then the plan is now now that the rain has stopped. We're going to expand this whole garden down to about where that tree is, and this garden a little bit more. So this is almost ready to be taken up, this plastic. And then we'll be able to have this whole area filled with garden rows that are hopefully going to be really productive for us. Something that is also very new is all of these trees that we've planted behind me along this fence line here. The plan for here is to create a little native garden that comes out a little bit, so that as you walk through this little pathway here, you come down and then all of these beautiful native trees is what you see here. It's very much a work in progress, and they're all pretty little right now, but they're going to grow up so beautifully and fill this whole fence in, hopefully with a lot of flowers and beautiful foliage. I'll do a quick little run through. I won't go through everything in depth, but we do have some a Banksia here. I think it's either Banksia integrifolia or Banksia serrata, one of the two. And we've just kind of, in the meantime, before we get a big load of mulch, we have just put a little bit of paper, really thick layers of paper around the plant just to smother the grass. And then when we do get a big order of mulch, we're going to mulch all of this area here. And then we've just covered it with things like cat litter and horse poo just to weigh the paper down. We're not going to be eating any of this, so we don't have to worry about the cat litter because it's perfectly fine. It'll compost down here. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the bandicoot just getting in my plants. Not cool. I have some thryptomene planted here. And this one here is probably one of the ones I'm most excited for. Oh, bandicoot. This is a Leptosperm, and this is a lemon-scented tea tree. This you can use for teas, and the leaves just smell absolutely divine. This grows up fairly tall, I think to about 7 meters it can grow. I want to keep it more around 3 meters just to cover this fence. And it prunes really well and has really beautiful white flowers. Got another thryptomene there, another Banksia. I think this one is serrata. Banksia serrata, or old man Banksia. There you go. You can tell its leaves are really serrated, and that's how you can kind of tell that it's Banksia serrata. These just have beautiful flowers, just classic Australian native flowers, and the foliage is just so cool. And these are native to our area, so they're going to grow really well. And I haven't actually had to water or do anything really to these since I've planted them, to all of these natives, which is really helpful so that I don't have to irrigate this area. This is another thryptomene here. This is a much larger one, and it's often used in bouquet making, like wedding bouquets and things like that, because the flowers are just so small and cute and dainty, and it's a really good kind of cut flower plant because you can cut fairly far down and then have a nice straight stem that comes up. So I am actually going to be planting probably I want to get another like 10 or so of these to plant around the property, just because I absolutely adore them so much. They're not native to this area, I don't believe. There's probably something really similar, though. I think they might be Western Australian, but I'll have to double check on that. But they're definitely a must-have in any Australian native garden, in my opinion, just because they will bush out really nicely, be like a metre by a metre, and fill in this space really nice. I think they'll look really nice if I have like a hedge of them going kind of around the corner. And then I have another Leptosperm down here. Oh, I can't remember the name of this one, but I think it might be Cardwell. Whatever it is, it has the most amazing show of white flowers. It just is covered in it, and it kind of looks like it's got snow all over it basically when it flowers. So hopefully you can kind of see my vision for all of those. And then coming down there, we've also built a little fireplace here, which is really cute. And we tried to have a fire the other night, but everything's just so wet that it was so smoky. So we're just going to have to wait a little bit till it dries out. But there was so much bricks around the property, so Scott and I put that one together. So that's kind of it for this area. I did do a little announcement on Patreon, some of our plans for this area. So if you want, you can head over there and check that out. But it is just fairly slow right now just because it's so muddy. Like I have to wear gumboots down here. It needs a lot of work and a lot of like plant roots to get in the soil just to kind of help break it up. So that's why I think that native garden will be really, really nice. Right, I'm gonna grab my cup of tea, sorry about the sun, and head up to the other garden and I'll share with you what it looks like up there, some new exciting things. The main exciting thing that I don't think I've really shared with you, I think I just did it one day and didn't really talk about it too much, but I have a tunnel now of Ranunculus planted. These were the ones that I was pre-sprouting in those trays, and now I have planted them out into the garden, and I've had to do a tunnel for these again just because the bandicoot was coming along and digging them all up. But I think they're going to look absolutely amazing here. It's just going to be a rainbow of Ranunculus, my own little Floriyard. Super excited for Floriyard, by the way, which is like Australia's biggest flower festival, or one of the biggest ones. But yeah, I'm very excited, so I'll show you what it looks like. It is a little hard to see because of the sun, but they're all planted in here now. So you can see them all in there. They're all really happy, and I have been fertilizing this a little bit with sea salt, and I'll probably do that again this week. I am noticing just a few of them are suffering from slugs, I think, but most of them are doing really well. And then I also thought I should update you on all of those pots that I planted, those terracotta pots. They're all popping up, a lot of the bulbs. I haven't seen any tulips yet, but that's understandable because they're usually the ones to come up the last, along with some daffodils. But I can see some grape hyacinths coming up, the anemones, all of the violas and the pansies are doing really great that I planted around the bulbs. Everything is just looking really, really beautiful, and I'm sure will continue to look beautiful as the bulbs pop up and we get some spring blooms from them all. So that was a little bit of a morning walk through the garden with me. I'll include a few little last clips here for you to enjoy some of the beauty that is coming out of the garden right now. I'm going to head inside and get my day started, finish my cup of tea, but I just wanted to say a massive thank you to you all for watching this video, liking, subscribing, supporting me on Patreon. It all helps me out so much, and I would love to know, what are you up to in the garden this week? What is something that has changed? Let me know in the comments down below, because I always love to know what you're all up to in the garden. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next one, happy gardening everyone. Bye.